Hey, what's up, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. Happy Monday. Hope you guys all had a great Father's Day weekend. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Shazam sequel update that we got from Zachary Levi. We're going to be talking about the Joker's R rating, but first, we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder and what he revealed to us this past weekend on his variable count. So if you are a supporter of the Release the Snyder Cut movement like we are, you were treated to two new images. Never before seen, of course, and they had to do, the first one was big. It had to do with Darkseid. We've never seen Darkseid before. We knew he was in the movie. We speculated that he was going to play a part at the end of the movie from the leaks, the leak descriptions, but here we have an image of Darkseid, kind of what looks to be leading the charge in that history lesson scene that we see kind of towards the beginning / middle of Justice League, and this is big. You know, it's a huge change if this is in the same scene as that one from the movie. So here he says, speaking of Father's Day, here's the King Daddy, Euxis and the Anti-Life. So if you guys don't know, Euxis is the original birth name of Darkseid before he rose up, killed the gods, and took on the god name of Darkseid. And the Anti-Life equation is something that Darkseid seems to continuously be chasing in hopes to control all of humanity and all of life. So if you've been following his variable posts, you guys know that Zack Snyder, maybe months back from now, several months back, he kind of gave us a hint that in this scene here, if you look at the ground, you see kind of a pattern. And he kind of confirmed one of the fans' theories that it had to do with the anti-life equation. So it's just we're getting these little bits and pieces that's giving us a whole picture. He's slowly giving us these little bits and pieces, whether it be on a post like this or him replying to a fan's comments in the comment section. We're getting a bigger picture from all of these things that he's releasing, and it's crazy, man. It's definitely keeping us satisfied, and it's definitely putting the pressure on Warner Brothers, and I think that's what he wants. And while I don't think the cut may be coming out anytime soon, the best we can hope for is that eventually it gets released, kind of like the Donner cut of Superman back in the day. So here we go, Darkseid. I only wish that we got a closer look as well to Darkseid because it's so far away. This was such a wasted scene in the movie, not because it was a bad scene, but because I do believe there was a lot of footage on the cutting room floor, and I was so hyped seeing this in the trailers, and it only ended up being like a couple minutes. Of course, we got some great reveals like the Green Lantern reveal. We got Zeus fighting, but I think there was a lot more. And I'd like to see it. So I can only hope that we eventually get the cut and we can see it in all its glory. So there's that. He also released a second photo that had to do with what was supposed to be the heart of the movie in Cyborg. So you can see here Cyborg looking at his parents, and it's weird because his mom's supposed to be dead, and in one of the other posts that Zack Snyder had, it had us assume that his father would also die in the original cut. Of course, we know in the Joss Whedon cut, the Justice League cut, he survives at the end, and that's fine, all well and good. You know, I'm not opposed to him surviving. I just want to see the story as Zack Snyder wanted to release it, and I guess in his version he might have died. So in this photo you can see his parents there standing next to a fixed body of Victor Stone, or a whole body, I guess you could say, and in the caption it says, "Careful, Victor, if you go inside the mother boxes they will fuck with you big time. That's not Father's Day, that's a trick." Right after that, when Barry runs time back after the League's initial failure and uses the epic jolt of Speed Force to project Vic into the boxes. So that's big right there. That caption alone kind of it confirms the fact that, hey, the League did fail initially and Barry did use his time traveling abilities. A lot of us speculated that from the trailers way back when you see Barry kind of do that weird pose and start running. Everyone speculated he was going back in time to do something. So it does kind of confirm that. So fans, of course, they bombarded Zack Snyder's account with questions, and he went on to kind of clarify a little bit or give it some context, and he says he basically says that Victor initially fails at preventing the unity of the mother boxes. So that actually happens. We see that in the Justice League movie. He had to prevent the unity. It was done in such a simple way though. So it says the Flash goes back into time to allow Victor to give it another go, and in the process, the Mother Box almost tries to tempt him and prevent him from stopping the Unity, almost like they want him to join with him, promising his family back, promising him his body kind of reborn and fixed, and it's messing with him, and that gives us a lot more character development for Cyborg himself. Not only is he faced with the ultimate decision of choosing to get his old life back or to kind of save the world, but if you look at and piece together things from Zack Snyder's previous posts, we do see him go through those traumas, losing his mother, losing his body, and apparently, this is me interpreting Zack Snyder's pictures, apparently he loses his father as well in the movie. So that's something we didn't get to see. It was kind of like they went from point A to point B in the straightest line possible in the Justice League version. Again, I don't completely blame Joss Whedon. Again, that Warner Brothers ultimately kind of kicked Zack Snyder off and brought in Joss Whedon, using the death of his daughter kind of as an excuse. It's a whole complicated story, but I don't completely blame Joss Whedon, though I don't like the version he gave us. So there's that. 2 new images, really incredible images, and hopefully it can satisfy us for the time being until we get that Snyder cut. So speaking of Ray Fisher, though, Ray Fisher was recently at a celebrity fan fest, and he says he doesn't think his time as Cyborg is over yet. He said if it was up to him, he would release the Snyder cut now, but unfortunately, that's way above his pay grade. I'm kind of summarizing that story. But good news is hopefully he knows some things about his place in the DCEU, and he doesn't think his time is up yet. So let's cross our fingers and hope Ray Fisher gets a second chance at this character in the future, because I was a fan of him. So let's move on to the next topic. Next topic is Zachary Levi giving us an update on the Shazam sequel. Zachary Levi, in a recent interview with AP News, along with Levi's hosting duties, he would come away with a golden popcorn statuette too. The actor is nominated for the best hero and best comedic performance to his role as Shazam. And Levi said the film created a bigger platform for his career. The actor said script writing for the sequel has already begun and expects to start filming either late spring or early summer next year. So that's big right there. So, I think Zachary Levi, if you follow him on Instagram, he goes on live all the time. And in one of his live posts on Instagram, I remember watching, and he was kind of unsure what his future was in the DCU, and that gave us fans a little bit, gave us a feeling of uneasiness, because we were like, man, this Shazam movie was so good. It didn't perform extremely well at the box office. It wasn't a failure by any means, but it didn't perform extremely well, and for the quality of movie that it was. So it left us a little uneasy, and at the time, The Rock hadn't given us the update, or we hadn't even got the Black Adam update about the director. So we were left a little uneasy, but hearing this definitely gives me a real sense of hope for the DCEU going forward, because I thought Shazam was a great addition to the DCEU, gave it a lot of heart. The only thing that's kind of concerning is, man, these kids are growing up real quick. So the kids in the movie are, they make up a great Shazam family, and that's important for a Shazam movie. If you read the comics, you know that family is kind of everything. It's the whole theme of the movie, and these kids are growing up real fast. So I'm hoping that they can. It won't feel too jarring seeing them all grown up, or maybe they play into that in the script. But it looks like they're bringing back the original writer, Henry Gayden, to script a sequel, because the first one did really well in terms of reviews. So I'm happy for that. I absolutely love Shazam. Can't wait till it's out on Blu-ray so I can watch it again. Let me know what you guys think of this. Are you guys excited for this potential Shazam sequel? We do know that Black Adam, if you've been following this channel, we reported on the director for Black Adam. So I will link that video right here above if you want to check that out, because we do have an update on the director for Black Adam. Can't wait to see these two opposing characters finally go at it in a potential sequel. So that's really exciting, just thinking about that. We know that DC is skipping Hall H this year, but We know they're going to be back in 2020, and hopefully they have some big news to bring with it. Okay, let's move on to the last story today, and the last story today has to do with this Joker movie. So if you guys follow Todd Phillips, again, on Instagram, he revealed to us that this image right here. So this image of Joaquin Phoenix, and he just he says, he captures it, finishing touches, and it's well, I have two things to say about this image first. So the first thing is, in the comment section of this, you know, you see him putting on the Joker makeup. So someone down in the comments says MPAA rating, and Todd Phillips actually responds and says, "It will be rated R. I've been asking this a lot. I've been asked this a lot. Just assume people knew. Sorry." And again, you know, Warner Brothers has done this in the past, where and actually other superhero movies and studios have announced, had said, hey, this is going to be rated R, and they kind of backpedaled on it. You know, it makes sense not to make it rated R. It's make movies rated R, superhero movies rated R. I mean, in some cases, because it could bring a lot of people to the theater. And in this case, if you watch the preview to the movie and you hear the premises, it only makes sense that it's rated R. So I'm really happy about that. I've been to the movies. I've been to the movies a lot lately. You know, I recently just saw Godzilla, saw Aladdin, and some other things. And the Joker trailer actually played in front of those movies. It was, you know, strangely enough, and the audiences. I'm so happy to hear the audiences seem super intrigued about this trailer, and there's something very special about it. And you know, I can't wait to get more footage from it. But yes, it being rated R is just going to allow him to really dig deep into the theme of mental illness, is what it seems to be in like from this trailer and from his comments in the past. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this whole rated R thing. I kind of clicked on the comments below as well, and people there. It's funny enough, there were kids who were following Todd Phillips and saying, "How I won't be able to watch it if it's rated R." So I thought that was pretty funny. But another thing that was funny about this image in particular is his response to a fan who was criticizing his vision of the movie. Now, I have some things to say about this, because, you know, a lot of the times fans will be really, really overcritical of a movie when it doesn't follow comic book lore exactly. And I think one of my favorite superhero movies, or my favorite superhero movie of all time right now, Man of Steel, was one of those movies that were heavily criticized for not following the source material to a T. So on that, on one of the comments, actually, it's blurred out here, but someone mentioned Todd Phillips and said, "Maybe you need help picking up a comic book. I don't know if you know this, but the Joker doesn't wear makeup. His skin is like that from the acid he fell into. He wasn't a clown before, then he was a comedian. And failed comedian, and then we all want to do this one job so that he blah 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 blah." So this guy goes on to give him a history lesson of the Joker, and then Todd Phillips' response is just really funny and short, and then he just says, "Yeah, you may want to skip this one," and then with a laughing face. And I thought that was super funny. It's funny because sometimes I reading stuff like that, I want to get riled up and just answer back to these people in the comment section, but then forget it's a waste of time because these guys are not open-minded. So with these type of movies, you always got to be open-minded, because you know, obviously we've never gotten a definitive origin story for the Joker, and this is something new we're going to get, an origin story for the Joker. So you don't always have to accept it. If you don't like it, there's always the comic books, there's always the other versions that you like. So take it for what it is, guys. Keep an open mind. That's all I have to say about this. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you haven't already, check out my last video in which we were reading a lot of the interesting comments in regards to the Batman movie and who you guys would like to cast. I thought that was a great video. Thank you guys for all the comments. I'm definitely going to try to get to all of you guys. We might do a reading the comments part 2 this week, just to get to some of the other things you guys had to say. And thank you again. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.